All right, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and call General Government Subcommittee to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Assemblywoman Backus. Assemblywoman Brown-May. Assemblywoman Kasama. Assemblyman Miller. Assemblyman O'Neill. Senator Goycochea. Senator Harris. Assemblywoman Peters. Chair Neal.
Here. So please mark Assemblywoman Backus excused. She's presenting bills in other committees. And mark Senator Harris present as she arrives. Yay! All right, so we have several budgets to close today. I will go ahead and turn over the budget closings to our fiscal staff.
Thank you, Senator Neal. For the record, Morgan Barlow, Program Analyst for the Fiscal Analyst Division of the Legislative Counsel Bureau. Before the subcommittee today are budgets that comprise the Department of Business and Industry. This is only a portion of the department's budgets. The remainder of the budgets will be heard at a later date in April. Before the committee today are 17 budgets, 2 of which were heard February 15th at the budget hearing, and the 15 remaining budgets are considered staff closing. Starting on page 3 of the packet is budget account 4681, the Business and Industry Administration budget. This budget is responsible for providing administrative, fiscal, and informational technology support and oversight to the divisions, agencies, and commissions that constitute the department. During the February 15th hearing, there was one major issue identified and discussed, and that of the new registration fee revenues for structured settlement purchase companies. For the biennium, the governor recommends $5,250 in new fee revenue in each year of the biennium for the Consumer Affairs Unit to collect initial and renewal registration application fees from companies that are required to register as structured settlement purchase companies. During the 2021 legislature, Senate Bill 332 was passed and provided the Department of Business Industry Consumer Affairs Unit the ability to register these companies. However, Senate Bill 332 did not provide the authority for the Consumer Affairs Unit to adopt regulations nor collect fees to fund activities associated with registering the structured settlement purchase companies. During that subcommittee hearing, it was noted that a bill draft request was submitted to provide the Consumer Affairs Unit with the authority to adopt such regulations. As fiscal staff notes an update to these closing documents, as of April 7th, the associated BDR is now before the Senate Judiciary Committee as Senate Bill 449. The associated fees referenced include a $250 initial and renewal registration application fee, a $375 late registration renewal fee, and a $500 registration reinstatement fee. The agency indicated that all fees collected by the Consumer Affairs Unit would be non-refundable and deposited into the Business and Industry Administration budget and used to acquire technology or approve technology used by the Consumer Affairs Unit. Through the hearing discussion and by means of post-hearing follow-up to the February 15th budget hearing, the agency testified the Consumer Affairs Unit is dependent upon the case management system to track, manage, and coordinate its cases. And the management system requires periodic software upgrades, and these recommended fees would be used to support the system. According to the agency, the Department of Business and Industry only registers and does not regulate the structured settlement purchase companies. The decision for the subcommittee is as follows. Does the subcommittee wish to recommend approval of $5,250 in new fee revenue to be placed in reserve in each year of the 2023-25 biennium related to the registration of structured settlement purchase companies as recommended by the governor, contingent upon passage and approval of enabling legislation?
Members, any questions on this closing item? Senator Goycochea.
Yes, thank you. Now, and I'm just looking at these notes because I had missed this. I'm sorry. But there's only presently 23 with 4 more coming. That's what we're dealing with, less than 30. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any additional questions? Okay, not seeing any questions, I will accept a motion for fiscal staff to close items 1 through, oh, not this one. Does the, to approve the structured settlement as recommended by the governor and contingent upon the passage and approval of SB 449.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. A second from C.H. Miller, Assemblyman Miller. All right, so next item. Oh, are we doing a vote? All in favor of the, I thought it was just the, so all in favor of the structured settlement as recommended by the governor with SB 449? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no opposition, this closing item is unanimously passed, and we'll move to the next budget item. Okay.
Okay. Moving on to other closing items for budget count 4681 on page 5. On page 5, there are listed the 3 other items identified for this budget. Fiscal staff recommends other items 1 through 3 be closed as recommended by the governor and requests authority to make technical adjustments as necessary.
Okay, are there any questions on the additional other closing items 1 through 3? And so I will take a motion from Assemblywoman Peters,
So moved.
and then I need a second from Senator Harris. All right, so any questions on the motion? All right, so all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, seeing no opposition, we are closing the other budget items 1 through 3 in the next budget. So the next budget will be 4680?
Correct. Thank you, Senator Neal. Page 7, budget count 4680, the Division of Industrial Relations budget. This budget account enforces federal and regulates workers' compensation insurance, enforces federal and state health and safety standards, assists employers with workplace safety programs, and provides safety training and inspections for all active mines in the state of Nevada. During the budget hearing, during the hearing on February 15th, one major issue was identified and discussed, and that of the modernization of the claims and regulatory data system. The governor recommends $1.6 million in fiscal year 2024 and approximately $537,000 in fiscal year 2025 in workers' compensation and safety fund allocations to modernize the Division of Industrial Relations claims and regulatory data system, a system which, according to the agency, utilizes legacy and manual systems, resulting in untimely and inefficient payment tracking and regulatory oversight. The workers' compensation section of the Division of Industrial Relations regulates workers' compensation programs to ensure timely and accurate delivery of workers' compensation benefits. During the budget hearing, according to the agency, the current claims and regulatory data system was originally implemented in April of 2017 and was designed to automate and streamline the workers' compensation section systems and processes. While the 2017 update did improve the system, the agency indicated that some manual processes remain, and which must be completed by staff. According to the estimates provided by the agency's current technology vendor, the modernization project is expected to take approximately 18 months from commencement to completion and total the $2.1 million recommended over the 2023-25 biennium. Through follow-up to the hearing discussion, The agency indicated the initial implementation completed in April of 2017 lacked key features to assist the regulatory process that would be addressed by this recommended enhancement, including the ability to accept online payments, as well as the ability for external users to upload reports and related information relating to physician information. The agency confirmed its intent to charge users of the online payment portal a convenience or surcharge to offset costs associated with accepting electronic payments pursuant to Nevada Revised Statute 353. The agency indicated the fee would be similar to the approved 2% convenience fee that the real estate division charges their users for online payments. In response to questions regarding the impact of the recommended enhancement to injured workers' claims, the agency testified the system does not directly address the resolution of workers' compensation claims, but rather aids in the regulation and oversight of employers who are required to provide workers' compensation insurance and associated insurers. According to the agency, no ongoing expenditures above the expenditures included in the base budget would be needed to maintain the system beyond the biennium, and that is due to the state owning the code for the claims and regulatory data system. The decision before this subcommittee is as follows. Does the subcommittee wish to recommend approval of $2.1 million in workers' compensation and safety funds over the 2023-25 biennium to fund the modernization of the Division of Industrial Relations Claims and Regulatory Data System as recommended by the governor?
Thank you for that. Any questions on the recommendation for workers' comp? Okay, not seeing any questions. I will accept a motion to approve $2.1 million in workers' comp safety funds over the 23-25 biennium to fund the modernization Division of Industrial Relations Claim and Regulatory System as recommended by the governor. Okay, so I have a first from Senator Peters. Not Senator Peters, Assemblywoman Peters, a second from Senator Harris. All right, so we'll move to other closing items. Oh, no, a motion. Vote. It's just that it's all together. So, all right, all in favor of this recommendation for the $2.1 million?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no opposition, this particular part of the budget passes. Next, other closing items.
Other closing items for budget account 4680 may be found on page 9. Those are other items 1 through 6, and fiscal staff recommends other closing items 1 through 6 be closed as recommended by the governor and requests authority to make technical adjustments as necessary.
Any questions on the closing items 1 through 6? All right, seeing no questions, I'll accept a motion to accept the other closing items 1 through 6 as recommended by the governor with the authority to make technical adjustments as necessary.
So moved.
So I have a first from Assemblywoman Peters, a second from Senator Gokachia. All in favor of other closing items 1 through 6?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no opposition, other closing items passes. And now we will move to budget 4677.
Thank you, Senator Neal. On page 11 starts the section of staffed closed budgets. As a reminder, similar to previous biennia, staff closed budgets are those budgets with no significant issues identified nor significant informational items. These budgets have not been heard previously by the committee, and fiscal staff is responsible for developing recommendations for the closings of these budgets. Page 45 of the packet contains the summary page with a singular motion for these staff closed budgets. As noted, page 11 starts the staff close with budget account 4677 with the Office of Business and Planning budget. This budget administers programs to assist and support the growth, development, and diversification of business and industry in the state. There were no major closing issues identified for this budget. There are 2 other closing items. However, closing recommendations for this budget and all subsequent budgets are included on the summary page in the closing packet. I'm happy to pause if there's questions or move on.
So are there any questions on this particular budget item? Okay, so we'll move to the next one.
Next budget account on page 13, budget account 4678, the new markets performance guarantee budget. This budget provides oversight on economic development related to the Nevada New Markets Job Act. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget. There is one other closing item. If there are no questions, I'll have to move on.
Members, any questions on the new markets? Okay, seeing none, next.
The next budget is on page 15, budget account 4683, the private activity bonds. The Director's Office administers bonds programs to include the private activity bonds program to improve access to capital and promote business development and expansion in the state. There are no major closing issues for this budget, with one other closing item. Happy to pause if there's questions.
Any questions on the private activity bonds budget? Okay, seeing none, next.
Next budget account is 3813, the insurance regulation budget. The Division of Insurance is responsible for regulating the insurance industry in Nevada and protecting the rights of consumers and the public in general dealings with the insurance industry. There are no major issues identified for this budget, with 4 other closing items. Happy to pause.
Members, any questions on the insurance regulations? Okay, seeing no questions, we will move on.
Next budget account on page 19 is budget account 3818, captive insurers budget. This budget regulates and supervises captive insurers domiciled in the state of Nevada. There were no major closing issues identified for this budget, with 2 other closing items listed. I'm happy to pause to answer any questions.
Members, any questions on captive insurers? Okay, seeing none.
Budget account 3821, insurance recovery budget. This budget was created to provide a means of satisfying claims against persons licensed under Nevada revised statute and replacing the bonding requirements for brokers, surplus line brokers, and adjusters. There were no major closing items nor other closing items identified for this budget.
Members, any so Senator Gogachia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this budget and a couple others I see have 0 FTEs. So I guess who's covering, or how do we cover? Again, not a huge budget, a couple $100,000, and I know there's some other ones here, maybe 500,000, but with no FTEs, is there a connection, or how do we tie that together, how the work's getting done that we're charging for?
Right, Morgan Barlow, for the record. So the Department of Business Industry, the administration budget, administers many of these programs and is supported through cost allocations when they administer programs related to budgets such as this where there's no FTEs. It is being administered by the administration.
Okay, I just kind of thought maybe it'd look better if we at least had a half-time FTE or something as we're doing this recovery, but yeah, I'm fine with it. I know where it's headed, but you'd think they'd at least show a half a live body or somebody there. Okay, so thank you. With that, I'm fine with it. It was just a question.
Okay, thank you for that. Any additional questions on insurance recovery? Okay, seeing none. Next budget.
Next budget is found on page 23, 4684, the self-insured workers' compensation budget. This budget was established to support activities required to qualify and regulate employers and associations of employers who elect to self-insure their workers' compensation risks pursuant to Nevada revised statute. There were no major closing issues identified, with 2 other items listed. Happy to pause for questions.
Members, any questions on this budget? Seeing none. Next.
Next budget account is 4682, the Occupational Safety and Health Enforcement Budget, also known as OSHA. This budget enforces occupational safety and health standards promulgated under Nevada Occupational Safety and Health Act and ensures safe and healthful working environments for Nevada employers. There are no major closing issues for this budget. There were 11 other items identified for this budget. I will note other item number 11. Other item number 11 has an associated budget amendment, Budget Amendment A231-14-4682. This budget amendment recommends a $131,587 decrease to the workers' compensation and safety funds to eliminate one vacant administrative assistant position, which, according to the agency, is recommended to be eliminated as associated duties are no longer necessary. Happy to pause for questions.
Members, any questions on this or the budget amendment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on.
Next budget account is 4685, Safety, Consultation, and Training Budget. This budget assists employers in developing and implementing effective safety and health programs to reduce and prevent workplace hazards. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget, with 8 other items listed. I'm happy to pause to answer any questions.
Members, any questions on this budget? Okay, seeing none, we will move on.
Next budget on page 31, 4686, Mine Safety and Training. The Mine Safety and Training section provides for mine inspection, technical assistance, consultation, safety, and health training to prevent mine accidents and occupational illness. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget. There are other items, 1 through 8, listed on page 32. I will note other item 8, which is a technical adjustment to enhancement units number 3, E710, and number 5, E712. This is a revenue and expenditure neutral technical adjustment to correct enhancement units relating new computer equipment. Happy to pause to answer any questions.
Members, any questions on the mine and safety training or the adjustment enhancement units? Okay, seeing no questions, next.
Next budget account is 3822, the real estate technology account. Established during the 2021 legislative session, this budget account maintains, upgrades, and enhances the division's technology as it relates to software, infrastructure, hardware, professional services, and content delivery. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget, with 1 other item listed. I'm happy to pause to answer any questions.
Members, any questions on this budget? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Next budget account, 3823, the real estate administration budget. This budget regulates real estate brokers and salesmen, timeshare agents, property managers, appraisers, qualified intermediaries, and building inspectors. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget, with 3 other items listed. I'm happy to pause to answer any questions.
Members, any questions on the real estate administration budget? Seeing no questions, let's move on.
Next budget account is 3826 on page 39, the real estate education and research budget. This budget supports the review and approval of continuing education courses for Nevada's real estate licensees and the licensings of instructors for those courses. There are no major closing issues identified for this budget account, with 4 other items listed. Happy to answer any questions, if any.
Members, any questions on the real estate education and research budget? Seeing no questions, next.
Next budget account, 3827, real estate recovery account. This fund is to be used for satisfying claims against persons licensed under Nevada Revised Statute, Chapter 645. There were no major closing issues identified for this budget. I will note the singular other closing item, and that is the adjustment to base. This is a revenue and expenditure neutral technical adjustment, and this is to correct base expenditures to facilitate a transfer of authority between categories. Happy to pause for any questions.
Members, any questions on this account? Seeing none, next.
Next budget account, 3820, Common Interest Communities budget. The real estate division includes the Office of the Ombudsman for Common Interest Communities and condominium hotels. The Ombudsman provides assistance to homeowners associations and their members and owners through education, facilitation, and equitable treatment. There were no major issues identified for this budget account, with 4 other items listed. Any questions?
Members, any questions on Common Interest Communities budget? Seeing none, next.
This takes us to our summary page on page 45. As previously noted, the fiscal staff is responsible for developing recommendations for the previously discussed staff closing budgets. Fiscal staff recommends that the following budgets be closed as recommended by the governor, with the technical adjustments noted, and requests authority for staff to make other technical adjustments as necessary. 101-4677, Office of Business and Planning. 101-4678, New Markets Performance Guarantee. 101-4683, Private Activity Bonds. 504-3813, Insurance Regulation. 504-3818, Captive Insurers. 504-3821, Insurance Recovery. 210-4684, Self-Insured Workers' Compensation. 210-4682, Occupational Safety and Healthy Enforcement, including a budget amendment A231-14-4682, and other closing item 11 to eliminate one vacant administrative assistant position and associated expenditures. 210-4685, Safety Consultation and Training. 210-4686, Mine and Safety Training, including technical adjustments noted for other closing items 3 and 5 referenced in other items 8. 101-3822, Real Estate Technology Account. 101-3823, Real Estate Administration. 216-3826, Real Estate Education and Research. 216-3827, Real Estate Recovery Account, including the technical adjustment noted and other closing item 1 to correct base expenditures. 101-3820, Common Interest Communities.
All right. I'll accept a motion to accept all of these closing items as mentioned by staff.
Chair Neal, I would move that we close the budgets as mentioned by staff with the technical adjustments also noted by staff, and grant them authority to make other technical adjustments as necessary.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. So I have a second from Assemblywoman Peters. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no opposition, these budgets pass unanimously. So that is the end of our business for the closings for today. So we will go ahead and open up for public comment. Is there anyone in Carson City for public comment? Is there anyone on the phone line BPS for public comment on this budget?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you for that. So that concludes our business. General Government Subcommittee is adjourned.